Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I know it hasn't been too long since the previous balance changes, but the new Brawl Curl is coming out pretty soon, so we could possibly just see new balance changes coming with the new brawler. So, I just decided to just make a video just dedicated to proposing a list of brawlers so I think just need balances in Brawl Stars. So, the first brawler that I think needs a buff is Piper. So Piper has definitely been struggling lately. She's nowhere as popular as she used to be, especially not in Gem Grab. She used to be pretty popular in Gem Grab as a gem carrier. And nowadays there's so many better gem carriers such as Pam, Poco, Jessie. No one even thinks they're using her anymore. So she's only seen like in Bounty nowadays. So she definitely does need a buff. She's definitely struggling right now, and her damage is one of the highest in the game. So she could just like two-shot most brawlers in the game. So we can't be buffing her damage. That would make her way too overpowered in my opinion. And I think the best approach to her buff would be to buff her super. And I think the best way to buff her super, and I've never seen this mentioned before, I think it's a pretty unique way. I think you should make it so when she uses her super and she's in the air, she could heal up while in midair. So by the time she's back down, she's either full HP or near full HP. So she could just jump into combat straight away instead of having to go back after the jump and healing up. That would take too much time. I think that would definitely help her out pretty well. So I think that's like the best way to buff her, and she does need a buff. So let's make it happen, please. So moving on to the second brawler on the buffs list would be to buff Crow, and I know that a ton of people agree with this. I know a ton of people have been saying to buff Crow to Brawl Stars for the longest time now, and they did listen, they did buff Crow, but it wasn't as significant of a buff as it should have been, in my opinion. But I do agree with a ton of top players who say that Crow is balanced, but he's only struggling because of the meta. And that's mainly because there's so much Pam right now, and Pam's constant healing makes Crow's attack pretty useless. And Jessie is also pretty popular right now, and Jessie's turret is very hard for Crow to take out just because he has low damage. And just because of the meta, I think he does need a buff. And I think the best approach to buffing Crow would not be to increase the damage as many people would suggest, but to increase the poison duration. And that just makes Crow more annoying as he used to be, and it would definitely make Crow much better. Let's move on to a third brawler on the list that I think needs a buff, and that is Jean. I know Jean has gotten a few significant buffs lately, but I still think he's sort of struggling. And the main reason for that I think is a higher skill cap, and that's evident because he has the lowest trophy average on the leaderboards out of any brawler in the game right now. So that's a sign that he is definitely a harder brawler to play. But I think Jean overall is a pretty good brawler, except one part of Jean, and that's his star power. I think his star power is definitely lacking right now. And the main reason for that is the radius. You don't see your teammates clumping up too often in game modes such as Bounty and Gem Grab. So Jean, his star power is rarely used in those kind of modes. So you should definitely increase his star power healing radius just to make it more usable. But aside from that, I think you should decrease his star power healing from 200 HP per second back down to 100 HP per second. And just to make up for that, I think you should make it so he could heal himself as well. This will make him more popular in Gem Grab as a gem carrier. It'll also make him more popular in Bounty because healing increases survivability. So I gave you guys a list of 3 brawlers that I think need a buff and how to buff them. So let's move on to the brawlers that I think need a nerf. So let's start the list off with Nita. Nita definitely needs a nerf right now. She's so good, one of the best brawlers in the game, too good in too many game modes. She got a buff not too long ago, and that kind of shocked me because she did not need that buff, and I'm just confused as to why Supercell thought she did. She's one of the best brawlers in the game right now because of how many game modes she's good at. She's a great option, one of the best options in Gem Grab, one of the best options in Brawl Ball. And even the new game mode Siege, she's a top 6 brawler in Siege for sure. Her bear on offense is definitely helpful. But where she shines the most is defense, so she could just throw a bear in front of a robo, and you could just start attacking the robo, healing your bear constantly, stalling the robo so much because the robo kind of struggles to take out the bear. And, it just saves you so much time, it saves you so much Ike HP, so good in Siege. And even in Bounty, I never thought I would see the day where Nita is a good option in Bounty. She's definitely one of the best options in a few Bounty maps. Just so many game modes for Nita right now. I would just nerf her star power and make it how it used to be, just revert it back to 300 HP per hit. And I think that's the main reason as to why Brawley is so strong right now. It's his damage. His damage is really high right now. So I would nerf his damage. I wouldn't revert back to how it was before the last balance change. So the last balance change made his damage go from 640 to 680 per tick at level 1. I would meet midway and go 660 per tick. So it's a pretty decent nerf, I guess. Not too big of a nerf, but still pretty good. A fun fact is Barley has the highest trophy average on the top leaderboards right now out of any brawler in the game. So it's pretty evident that he's one of the best brawlers in the game right now. So moving on to the second last brawler on the nerfs list is Jessie. And this might surprise some people just because Jessie has never really been overpowered. She's always been that good brawler. No more than that ever, except a long time ago, but no one remembers that. So, Jessie's star power I think is a little too overpowered. And, her star power just allows her to get so much control with her turret. Even if your opponent managed to take out the turret, they lose ammo and your teammates could just push up on them. So you're going to get control no matter what once you throw a super down and start spamming you with healing. So I would nerf her star power healing from 800 per zap to 700 per zap. And, that might make her a little too weak after the nerf. And if it does make her too weak, I would just increase her damage. Moving on to the final brawler that I think needs a nerf, and that's Pam. You gotta address the elephant in the room. Pam's been so strong for so long. She's been one of the best brawlers for the longest time now. She's never gotten a nerf without getting both at the same time. So she was initially introduced as a support brawler, and she had high healing and not that much damage. But ever since Supercell decided to rework her and make her damage higher and nerf her healing, she's been so versatile. She's good in every single game mode right now. Just way too strong. She's a great option in Bounty with the Poco combo. The best gem carry and gem grab. She's not always a gem carry anymore. She could be used as a gem grab lane just because of her damage and her ability to help the mid because of her super. She's a staple in Siege. You never see a Siege comp without Pam. She's the best brawler in Siege in my opinion. One of the best brawlers in Brawl Ball. She's just so good right now, So I think the best way to nerf Pam would be to just nerf her damage. She was never really intended to be this aggressive. She was always more so of a support kind of brawler and not the aggressive brawler she is right now. If she does follow the meta just because of the damage nerf, I would increase her super healing. That might make her worse in some game modes and better in some game modes, and that would just change her playstyle completely and, not make her as versatile as she is right now. And, in my opinion, I don't think any brawler should be good on every single game mode. So we've discussed the buffs, we've discussed the nerfs, but something else we need to discuss is a Rico rework. So ever since Rico got a damage buff, he sort of lost his uniqueness and his skill cap is much lower now. Your average player doesn't care that much about maximizing the brawler's for potential, and they would just rather shoot straight and do damage. It's faster for them, it's easier for them. Rico already does so much damage, so it's not prioritized anymore for your average player. So I would nerf Rico's damage and increase the increased range he gets from bounce shots. I think that would just bring back his uniqueness and make his skill cap higher than it is right now. And I know Brawl Stars initially intended for Rico to bounce his shots off walls because otherwise his star power wouldn't increase his damage when his shots get bounced off walls. So I think they just made a mistake with the damage buff, and I think it's easily fixable, and I hope they fix it. So there you have it, guys. That's my balance change wish list, and I think Brawl Stars definitely needs to change up the meta a bit. It's been getting kind of stale. Same brawlers have been dominant for so long now. Definitely needs to change up a little. But yeah, thanks for watching. Be sure to like the video if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be posting as much as I possibly can, pumping as much content as I possibly can. Yeah, comment down below what kind of content you guys want to see. I have a general idea of what you guys want to see, but comment more specific ideas. I'm going to be sure to read every single comment. I love engaging with my audience. I would love that. Thanks for watching once again. See you guys.